Hey everybody, Steve here, and today in this video what we're doing is going on a hike here in Oahu. I live in the city of Aiea, and we're going up to a park that is only a few miles away from my house, so that's going to be really neat. I'm not going to say the name because my pronunciation of Hawaiian words is atrocious since I just got here. So when we get up here, I'll show you the sign, and then you can figure out how to say it yourself. But there's a lot of trails and parks in Hawaii of varying degrees of difficulty. Everything from easy hikes to pretty much flat, all the way to getting some serious inclines where it's going to take, the experienced hiker, somebody who's had a lot of exercise.
Your destination will be on the left.
Okay, so we're almost there. And like I said, it's only a couple miles away, but there's varying degrees. And this is only like about a 4.5 to 4.8 mile hike. So we've got our bag, we've got our camera, we've got some water to drink, and some emergency food and sunscreen, and that's going to be really interesting. So as we enter into the park, okay, so there it is. As I said, this is a state recreation area here in Hawaii, and you can pronounce that yourself. And what we end up seeing is a lot of rock formations here, and actually those were all set up because this was considered a sacred place. So you can see it is really beautiful up here, and with this area is considered a sacred area because this was a place of healing, physically and spiritually. And I think it was around the 15 or 1600s that is what they ended up saying. But yeah, don't climb on the rocks on here, but it is pretty neat to see. The weather is awesome, scenery is great, and again, this is just at the entrance of the park. Let's see what this says. Okay. It says a temple with the life-giving powers believed to be a center where the Hawaiian kahuna, lapa'u, or herb doctor practiced the art of healing. Herbs grown in nearby garden were compounded and prescribed with prayer. So that's kind of neat. So just really neat. And as you can see, it's just beautiful landscape. And part of this park that's really nice is that you have some picnic table areas here, you've got some facilities, you've got places to eat, and it's just really, really nice. So anyway, yeah, it looks pretty nice. And the weather, we got a little bit overcast today, got some high humidity, but with the overcast it brings the temperature down, and I think it's going to be a nice day for a hike. So what we'll end up doing is we'll continue on up the hill and we'll see what we can see. Alrighty, so now we're starting off. This is the beginning of the Aiea Loop Trail, and as you can see, there's a lot of ample parking, but it's probably best to get up here a little bit early. Even though I only got up here at about 11, you'll still find people that came early, did the 4.8 mile hike or whatever it is, and then they're leaving, so it's not too hard to find a parking space. Alrighty, the Aiea Loop Trail. And as you can see, it's 4.8 miles, about 2 to 3 hours, depending on your condition. Trail conditions are muddy, slippery in places, so make sure that you got some good hiking shoes. carry some water. Definitely want to do that. I've got about 3 liters sunscreen. I've got that. A little overcast, but that's not bad. And again, the notice for animals, no motorized vehicles or anything like that. So here we are starting off. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a muddy trail. We've been getting more rain recently since we moved here. And another interesting thing is there's a sign that says don't hike after 4 p.m. If you're caught in the park after dark. It closes at 6:45, so be mindful of your time. And as you can see, there's a little bit of a... This isn't something you'd want to hike if you had some physical handicaps or in a wheelchair or anything like that. But up that way is the trail beginning, and we're going to head to and continue down the Aiea Trail. But as you can see, man, it's just beautiful. Just incredible. So, but again, the trail, it's a little muddy. It is pretty muddy. But anyway, pretty nice. So let's continue on. from. You can see all this bamboo, which is really good. Bamboo is supposed to have some healing properties, especially when there's a big forest of it. You can walk in it and breathe. That's a rumor through Asia, Korea, China. Just amazing though. Amazing. Yeah, just incredible views. Incredible. Definitely a little hot and humid. It's not so much the heat, it's the humidity that gets you. But we're coming up on the halfway point, so we'll continue on. Thing you got to be careful of is that if you do come up on an overcast day, you're going to find that the trail is a little muddy and slippery. So if you're a feeble type person, you might want to bring a hiking stick. And yeah, definitely I wouldn't want to bring kids on this, because that would be trying to corral them. You'd lose them down a ravine or something. Look at that. You can see way down there is the ocean. Crazy stuff. Awesome view. Alrighty. Let's trudge on. Here's what I was talking about. You can see where it's really muddy here, and you've got some areas like this throughout, but that mud that'll definitely, if you're not experienced, that will definitely challenge you a little bit, and especially when it's so wet and muddy. Got to be really careful, because it is slippery. If the trail was dry, wouldn't be any problem at all. But you get to the point now where it's muddy and slippery. I've almost hit the deck twice, but haven't done that yet. Oh wow, check this out. Look at that. That's one of the major highways. I think that's where we went over to Kailua Beach, was on this highway, and there's a tunnel that's like right up there. Tell you what, with the clouds in here, it is nice. Mud, not so much. Clouds, yeah, not bad. Okay, to give you another shot of what we're looking at here, that highway. Oh, it is nice. There you can see it. Isn't that amazing? Just so much green here. Incredible. So anyway, we're going to continue on our journey, and since we're about the halfway point, I checked the map, so we're good to go. So now the last half. So let's get going. Definitely humid, but It is a nice trail. Definitely not something you would, if you walk with a cane or have a wheelchair, it's definitely not one of those types of trails. But if you like hiking for the sake of hiking and you want to breathe cleaner air than what's in Honolulu or anything like that, definitely suggest the Aiea Loop Trail. Really beautiful. Big tree fell. Man, look at that. It's pretty amazing. Well, we just saw the sign back there for the starting point if you're going the other way. So we finished up the Aiea Loop Trail. Definitely got to work out today. Slipping, sliding, mud, beautiful scenery, clean air, awesome views. And we're going to be heading back to the vehicle. Definitely a workout. Sun's out, got a little bit of clouds, but it was so much nicer when it was overcast. But the cool thing about this hike is that there's enough overhead cover by the trees that you're never really in the sun long enough. But with that being said, probably want to put on some sunscreen. And if you're like me and you sweat, put on multiple layers. Alrighty, show you where we're at. Alrighty. So here we are. A little picnic area. More stairs. Hopefully that's the last bit of stairs. Because man, that wore me out. Now we just gotta find the car. Just when you thought it was over, or you finished the trail, of course I went clockwise, it puts you at the base. So you end up way down there, gotta come up the stairs, and then you gotta walk all the way up here. So either way, when you see the sign that shows that you're done, you're not really done. So a little bit more hiking to go. All right, so here's the summary of the Aiea Loop Trail and the 4.8 mile hike. For those of you who watched the video in its entirety, as you saw, it's definitely not something for those who are handicapped or infirmed. But that goes without saying. I did see some elderly people there, but it didn't look like they had done the full 4.8 miles. With that being said, I probably wouldn't want to take real small children or people who are infirmed or somebody who's not used to walking at least 1 or 2 miles because it is kind of a long hike. And combine that with the heat and the humidity here in Oahu, you will definitely find yourself sweating a lot. So to combat that, whenever you go on a hike here in Hawaii, I highly suggest that you take like a Camelback, at a minimum a 1 liter bottle of water, maybe even a protein bar or an energy snack. Along with that, I would also recommend taking some sunscreen, a hat, maybe a long sleeve shirt, something to keep the sun off of you, because the UV rays here in Hawaii are a little bit more hardcore than they are in places like Colorado, where I was from. But other than that, it's a really nice hike. There's not a lot of lookout points. There's only a few, which you saw in the video. But as far as the walking trail, there's a lot of overhead coverage from trees, lots of shade, so you have that for you. But anyway, some other recommendations, go slow. Take it easy, enjoy yourself. There's no reason to rush through that hike. And there's also no reason to do the entire 4.8 miles. You can go in and go maybe just a quarter mile or a mile, turn around and come back. There's nothing wrong with that. And the good thing about that is that if you go in a couple of miles and then you come back to the starting point where I started, then you're close to your vehicle, and you know, it's just kind of a nice easy hike. If you park up at the very top the way that I did and completed the full 4.8 miles, you finish the hike at a lower elevation, and then you have to hike all the way back up to your car on the road. So just something to consider. Anyway, I really enjoyed the hike, and we'll be doing some more videos on hikes and trails around here in Oahu, Hawaii, and we hope you'll join us on the next one. Take care, God bless, and we'll see you on the next video on Living in Oahu.